Hello students, this is one of the answer scripts of mock 2 English subject code 184. Let us go through the paper and evaluate that the questions are written very clearly. The candidate has written section A, but now it is called part A. Questions are very well written in the margin, and the literal option literal is written, answer is written very neatly, very clearly. There are two occasional mistakes. The candidate is advised to read the options, eliminate it, go back to the text and see whether the answer qualifies to be correct, and then respond. In literature, the reading score is here on the top, 9 scores. Reading is literature reading is unseen reading is 18, writing is 4, grammar is 8, literature reading is 9, and literature is 12. Let us go to the second part, that is literature reading. Literature reading, there's only one occasional mistake. The right answer was no con. Then we have the grammar section. The grammar section is also done quite well. There are only two errors. The third question requires the answer to be a girl's shirts. Girls wear shirts, and that is option D. And for the eighth question, that is B, that is plural subject and verb. Over here, this question is not very clear exactly what the candidate has written, what part, what option, what question was selected. It is advisable if it is an option based question, the candidate should write option A, and whether it's a letter, formal letter, informal letter, letter to the editor, whatever. Now from looking at this, it is not very evident what part of writing was attempted by the candidate. If it is a letter, it is definitely, it does not look like a letter. Now let us read and see for find out what format does it. Subject is usually written in a letter. This true that are over a period of time the people have changed pretty pretty well with the futuristic products and developed by technology, the younger generation. Now the candidate is writing something about, or the content seems to be in place, but the format is definitely not evident, and there are no transitional words to flow. And beginning a paragraph with so is completely out of place. Pratik should come also with the idea of not making the children so much Western. Now, it is quite surprising that the format cannot be identified from this response sheet at all. So format marks are lost, content marks, maybe something, layout, it's not understood what is that the candidate has tried at appearing. Fluency marks are lost, accuracy, if you were to see the sentence does not read very well, that means the structure, there are quite a few structural errors in this writing as well. The candidate is advised to read a lot in order to improve on structure. Now, looking at this question, child mortality rate. This is the heading. Heading is in place. If the candidate has tried attempting this as a paragraph, this does not qualify to be a paragraph. So the marks are lost for format. And then looking at the graph, it's a very weak way of beginning. We can clearly, we should be avoided, that is non-academic writing. Clearly satisfy and be happy, that by years the rate of, now the very first line should be it should be an overall statement, what does the graph depict. The second statement is overall, that means the majority part, what is given over there. Then you select part from the graph and then try commenting on it, drawing a comparison. Then select some other aspect, lower aspect, and draw a comparison. At the end, conclude what is your overall statement. There is no language of comparison used, and it is a non-academic language. This writing will not fetch more than 2 marks out of 5. And if it is paragraph writing, it is definitely not in a paragraph. Paragraph should be one unit. That means this line should be joined over here. It should not begin as a new paragraph. Right now, it is looking like an essay. So definitely the marks are lost for format. For literature, it is advised time and again to begin with the writer's name and then the title. If you are not giving the hint to the examiner what question, the examiner will keep reading and try guessing from which part of literature have you tried answering. Thus, this answer will definitely not fetch any marks. Second requirement of CBSE is that you should have semblance of textual reference. Textual reference means citations. If you can say, if I fly through black clouds, yes, black clouds were used. So you can use single quotes around black clouds, and then it becomes your citation, and your answer will fetch better marks. This requires a little effort. Or you can see the after full stop, the letter begins with the he had also. But he is not very clearly written. So this is one aspect where the student might try restating, re-narrating the story, but that is not expected in literature. In literature, what is required is literary analysis. If the student is not writing the writer's name or the title, definitely 1 mark is lost for that. And if it's a 2 mark question, the candidate should get just half a mark for it, though I've awarded 1 mark. This little difference will occur with examiner to examiner, but if the guidance are not followed, the candidate will keep repeating the same error several times. The answers should be analytic in nature. What is analytic in nature? Begin with the name of the playwright's name, and then the play, and then what is stated in there. It is evident that it can be cited, that it can be said, that you narrate the story but say that it can be said, that it is evident, that it can be deduced, that only this small part of the sentence, half the sentence frame, if you were to add, it would have fetched you better marks. Now, the same error continues at first boldly. Now, the way this answer is beginning, it does not show any semblance of an analytic response at all. It is just the story re-narrated, and if the candidate cannot understand that re-narrating the story is not a literary analysis, it is comprehension skills. And in the literature section, comprehension skills are not tested. One such pointer is the use of the word chapter, lesson, unit. These words are not to be used in literature at all. In literature, words like short story, prose, poem, autobiography, biography, such forms of literature should be used. And again, if the title is used, it should be in single quotes where the first letter is written in capitals. In the short story Black Aeroplane, it is mentioned that who mentioned that? The writer. Write the name of the writer. That will definitely fetch better score. The chapter again, necklace with a lower N, it will definitely not fetch marks because it is an error written by, now this is better, where the writer's name is given. But again, it is evident that it can be seen that here few citations are used that has earned a few marks to the candidate. But it is evident that it can be seen that analytic language is definitely absent. Thus, it is advised to the candidate to pay attention to analytic writing. Restating the story will definitely throw away 30 marks for literature subjective writing. Writing part where the marks were just thrown away because the format was not clear, no announcement was there whether it's option A or B. If there's one question only, then just write on the top formal letter, editor, or whatever, or essay or speech, whatever was given, that should have been announced. So, keeping that in mind, the examiner will evaluate the paper. If this is supposed to be a paragraph, write there on the top paragraph over here, and then okay fine, with the keeping the format of the paragraph in mind, format marks would have been given for title, but format marks would have been taken away for writing an essay. This is how it is to be presented. If the students are slightly doubtful, kindly refer the video on the toppers, what how the toppers work. There's a CBSE toppers video on the channel Coaching Mentor, kindly go through it. The student can work on literature and writing, and definitely the candidate shows the caliber to score at least 15 marks more in literature and at least 6 marks more in writing. That means roughly the scores can go up by 20 or 21 marks easily. Thank you very much for your kind attention. I hope the students will make sure that these mistakes are not made. Students are requested to identify one good quality in this paper and give three suggestions for improvement. Thank you very much for your kind attention.